The word is namaskaram. Up there in the north, they cut it really short and made it namaskar. You made it namaskara. The Sanskrit word is namaskaram. We are lucky that the Tamil people did not make it namaskaran. I have not been told what I am supposed to speak about. KotiNati. Okay. When it comes to India, this nation, which is the oldest national entity on the planet, in the sense for over 10 to 15,000 years, we've been considered a nation. Though at many times we've been over 200 political entities, still both within the country and outside the country, people refer to this nation as Hindustan or Bharat. Though we spoke different languages, we ate different kind of food, we dressed differently, we looked different, but still, not just us here, but people from across the world, of the known world of that time, they considered us as a nation. So one important reason why we were considered a nation is, most nations are made on the basis of sameness, of race, religion, language, ethnicity, but we defy that completely. In every way we are different, but we've been a nation. The fundamental of this nationhood has been because everywhere there was certainty about who they are, but we were identified with our confusion of who we are. Because in this country, asking who am I is a very profound question. Everywhere else they know who they are, they're certain. Here, we every day ask ourselves, who am I? That means we were a land of seekers, never a land of believers. As a people, as a culture, seeking the highest truth has been our way. Even when so-called divine entities came, they could not give us a commandment, all they got was questions. Shiva opened his mouth to speak to his beloved wife. Oh, she has 1,000 questions. She freaks him with questions. Krishna, he waited all his life for an extreme moment of a battlefield and opened his mouth. Arjuna has hundreds of questions. So even if they claimed their God, still they could not give commandments. They had to face the questions. Questions to everybody, questions to myself, who am I? And all kinds of questions. Because this comes from a profound understanding of life, the intelligence of ignorance. However knowledgeable you are, if you have read the libraries of this planet, still your knowledge is minuscule in the span of this cosmos. If you identify with your knowledge, you become a minuscule. But our ignorance is boundless. If you're identified with your ignorance, you not only become boundless, if you know you're ignorant, your intelligence cannot sleep, It's always alert. If you think you know, your intelligence sleeps. If you know that you do not know. So here, we did not think going to heaven is very important, but to become awakened is very important. Are you not awake already? No, not awake enough. So always in this land, the striving has been to awaken ourselves, because we know the present level of wakefulness we have is not good enough to know life, is good enough to survive, but not good enough to know the essence of life. So constantly striving for this. In striving for this, the land that we live on became very important. Everywhere else in the world, the heavens became very important. For us, our land, our soil, our rivers, our mountains became very important. In fact, we are referred to as Hindustan, not because you follow a specific religion. The word Hindu comes from the fundamental of Himalayas and the Indus-Sagara. The land that lies between Himalayas and the Indus-Sagara, or what is today known as the Indian Ocean. This land is Hindustan. Well, the tree is Hindu, the earthworm is Hindu, the elephant is Hindu. Don't think they're chanting your mantra or something. They're not. Because they're of this soil, we call them Hindustan, Hindu, or this is Hindustan, this land is Hindustan. So our identity has not been with heavens, but with this land. In my opinion, the greatest crime that has been perpetrated upon humanity is the idea of heaven. That there is another place up there which is better than this. You can mess up this place and go there. This is the worst idea that human beings have been fed with. Many of you heaven-bound people, you don't like it. It's all right. But I'm saying if you are so sure there is a better place than this, why don't you go today? Yes. If you are very sure there is a better place than this place, you must go, isn't it? Hello? No, you're just fooling around. For all the mess that you do, you have an excuse that there is a better place. This is the place. This is the place. If you want to live well and die well, this is the place. Those who think there is a better place, they must leave. Hello? Those who think this is the place must transform this into heaven. And anyway, do you have any proof? Do you have any proof that you are not already in heaven and making a mess out of it? Hello? Do you have any proof? No? You're already in heaven, making an absolute mess out of it. If you want your heaven to look beautiful, you have to fix it too. There are many things to fix. Of course, we always talk about the roads, the bridges, the ports and the hospitals and the colleges and the schools, and of course the toilets. But the most important thing, which we have always referred to as, what do you say in Kannada for the manna? In Tamil we say Thai manna. What do you say? Manna Thai. Bhumi Thai is different. What about the manna? Only manna. Okay. In Tamil Nadu, people say Thai manna because even our mothers were given birth by the soil. Hello? Maybe we were given birth by our mothers, but even our mothers were made by the soil. What you think is my body is just the soil of this planet, isn't it so? Hello? Today if you get it from me, you will become little awakened. Otherwise, one day you will get it from the maggots when they bury you. Everybody will get it. The question is of timing. Like life is like this. It's a question of timing. I don't know if you understood. If you can stop this activity, sir, please, sir. I do not know if you understood the chant. It's all about timing. What you call as my life is just a certain amount of time and energy. Time is just rolling away. If you sit here, it goes away. If you lie down and sleep, it goes away. If you do some work, it'll go away. If you laze around, it'll go away. Whichever way, for all of us, time is going away at the same pace. Can you hold it back? You cannot hold it back. You cannot rewind. It's just going away. Most people are not getting it because they're looking at the modern clocks which is going round and round. They think time is eternal for them. I think if you had these old, the sand machines, sand is running out, you can clearly see it's getting over. For all of you, time is getting over, yes or no? Hello? No, am I talking to mortal human beings or immortal beings? I don't know. Because immortality is a terrible thing. If you cannot die, what will you do? Hello? The worst punishment we can give you is, you cannot die. What will you do? Oh, you will enjoy, you will see after some time. No, time will run out. The only thing we can manage is our energies. If you manage your energies well, what somebody does in 10 years, you can do it in 1 year. So if you live for 100 years, it feels like you lived for 1,000 years in terms of impact. If you do not manage this well, then just it goes away. Life is not something that you can hold back, it just goes away. One who does everything, this is something that you must look at in your life, every moment, whatever you are doing. Are you doing everything possible or are you holding back? This is all the question. This is all the question is about life. You can't hold it back and take it somewhere. Hello? You cannot hold it back and take it somewhere. Either everything that you can do, you do it here, or you don't do anything and go. Either your life is enriched by what you are, or your life went unlived. You can't save it and do it somewhere else. This is the horrible idea of heaven. People think they can save it here and go and do it there. Even if you want to do it there, should I tell you about the nature of… Should I? Hello? See, they want to know. This happened in Alabama. Alabama is a very special state in America. It was a Sunday school, and the Sunday school teacher was going on full fire. The audience was not like you, they were all tiny tots, catch them young policy. So he was going full fire with his rhetoric. In the mid-sentence he stopped and asked, "What do you have to do to go to heaven?" Little Mary, who was sitting in the front seat always, she said, "If I scrub the church floor every Sunday morning, I will go to heaven." Absolutely. Another little girl said, "If I share 50% of my pocket money with my less privileged friend, I will go to heaven." Correct. Another little boy said, "If I help those who are in need, I will go to heaven." Correct. Little Tommy at the back bench stood up and said, "You gotta die first." That is the qualification. If you want to go to heaven, first you must die. Hello? First things first, you must do something first, right? Now what is in heaven? In the Hindu heaven, food is very good. Nala himself cooks for you. If you are a foodie, don't call all this, what is this, Zomato, Swiggy, just go there. Food is good. Food is very good there, if you are a Hindu. In another heaven, there are those white-gowned ladies floating around in the clouds. If you like that kind of ambience, you go there. In another heaven, you will have virgin problems. If that's what you need, you go there. But when you die, usually we either bury you or burn you or cut you and throw you to the birds, depending on your culture. Something we will do, in some way we'll put this body back to earth. This is the only eco-friendly thing that most human beings do. At least they put the soil back into the soil. But now, Elon Musk wants to go and die on Mars. 75 kilograms of earth lost forever. Hello? No. At least this much we must do. Put the body back to earth when it's done, isn't it? Hello? When you're done with this must go back. Even that they want to deny. But anyway, you cannot, you will put it back here, it's too expensive to take it there. So you went to heaven, you left the body here, went to heaven. You have no body. What do you do with good food and virgins, I'm asking? Hello? These are all problems that you have when you have a body, isn't it? Once you have left your body here, what are you going to do there? So if you ask three questions, all the three heavens will collapse. So you need to understand this. You have already landed in heaven. You made a little mess out of it, it's time to fix it. We can build wonderful buildings. Well, we are in the palace ground, you can build a palace for yourself, you can do whatever the hell you want. But unless the soil is rich, the water is clean and the air is pure, this will not feel like heaven. Even Bengaluru city is beginning to feel like hell. I remember Bengaluru city, how it was when we were children, when we came here. Well, it was called the Garden City. Do you still call that?
Traffic.
You change the name. Discussion. Good. At least you're honest about it. It doesn't feel like that. If you enter Bengaluru city, I see, if you ride a motorcycle into Bengaluru city, the power just drops. Really. I'm just riding in and I find the engine just drops its power. It's suffering. What's happening to me? What's happening to you? Living here? Well, we can go on endlessly talking about our problems, but how to fix it? We must understand this. In all these issues, the most fundamental thing is soil. The most fundamental problem is soil. What we considered as Mother Earth, soil, especially in India, is dying. To consider soil as soil, you need a minimum of 2% organic content. Today, nearly 40% of India has less than 0.05% organic content in the soil. This means 40% of India's land will become completely barren in a matter of 25 to 40 years' time. This is not a joke. This is not some alarmist statistics. This is a reality slowly unfolding in front of us. The only way we can put back organic content into the soil is leaves of the trees and the animal waste. There's simply no other way. Yes? There is simply no other high-tech way of doing it. It's just the leaves of the tree and the animal waste. Trees are gone long time ago, animals are all traveling to Saudi Arabia. Yes? How are you going to replenish this soil? Right now, we are pushing from the Rally for Rivers movement to make this compulsory. Anybody who owns a hectare of land must have a minimum of 5 bovine animals on the land. Whether you use it or you don't use it, it doesn't matter. If you want to own land, you must have animals. If you don't have animals, you have no right to own land. This must happen. If it happens now in the next 25–30 years, we will revive the land. Or if we do it when emergency situations come after 30–40 years' time, then it's a different matter. We will bury a lot of human beings, that will also enrich the land, of course. That's a good thing. Like somebody said, cigarettes are very good for ecology because it kills human beings. Is that the way we want to go? Is that the way we're going to fix ourselves when something horrible has to happen to us for us to do something sensible to our lives? Is that the way we're going to conduct ourselves? Or are we intelligent enough, sensible enough, sensitive enough to do the right thing now? This is the important thing. And this KotiNati, for all of you who are part of this, it's a wonderful project. And I must tell you, probably this is a surprise to most of you, early part of my life I spent in Chikkaballapur. And our ancestral home in Chikkaballapur, every year after year, every summer, at least a month and a half we spent in Chikkaballapur. We have very fond memories of the place, but probably last 30–35 years I've barely been there. Just now we are setting up a leadership academy in Chikkaballapur, and I'm really happy that you've taken up this region for this KotiNati project. I'm talking about 50 years ago. Even then, it was a dry place. Even then, compared to all the surrounding areas, Chikkaballapur was a much drier place. It was in rain shadow area. People believed that there was a yogi who was living in the Konda, I don't know what you call it today, because at that time Chikkaballapur was totally Telugu population. It was Chinnaballapur. Now it's become, after Vatal Nagaraj's period, it's become Chikkaballapur. It doesn't matter, the names change, but the terrain is same, soil is same. So, there was a yogi who was living in Konda, and somehow some accusations came upon him and people treated him very badly. So, they used to say he cursed. He said, "You people will not get rain." But I've actually seen this, because summer vacations we used to be there, and post-summer when the monsoons come, all around it would be raining, except this. Then I realized this is rain shadow area. I tried to argue with my grandmother, this is not because of somebody's curse, this is a rain shadow area, rain is not happening here, this is what we need to do. But this is the legend. I'm glad that we are making efforts to make this region green. We need to understand this. With Rally for Rivers, we have put this across to the central government in a big way. And in the United Nations, we started this decade of action for water across the world, particularly focused on tropical regions of the planet. And if you said river, if you said water, you must understand this, 2 years ago, just 2 years ago, everybody, including so-called environmentalists, all talking about check dams, dig this, do that, do this. No, we have at least changed this much in people's mind. that if water is the problem, the first thing is you must plant trees, not goddamn dams. Well, being in Karnataka, being in this region, you have seen the Varuna Canal. I was very involved when it was being dug because I was very excited about the engineering that was happening there and the machines that were working. I spent a lot of time. Now I go and see, the entire Varuna Canal system is dry. Yes, totally. It's completely dry. I don't know how many thousands of crores they spent at that time, 35, 40 years ago. Today it would be probably a lakh of crores or more what has been spent on that canal. Still going on. So this is not the answer. In a tropical country you cannot… This is one thing we have convinced the government. Now they've taken up projects. I said, transporting water in a canal in a tropical country where temperatures are averaging around 35 degrees centigrade is a crime. Because if the water travels about 100 kilometers, the loss is around 75% to 80%. Evaporation, the leakage, the soil is thirsty and it will drink up, hardly anything gets to the destination. If you must transport water for the sake of populations, drinking water alone, I am not advising anybody to transport water for the sake of agriculture. Why the hell do you want to do agriculture where there is no water? Go on to agriculture where there is water. Why are you trying to transport water to another place? It must be transported in sealed pipes if it is being transported for human usage. So this much has gone across and all projects that are going to be done in the next few years are going to be closed pipes, not open canals. This has been commenced and now Rally for Rivers recommendation, which is a 760-page recommendations that we wrote, has been sent by Niti Aayog to all the states and including Karnataka as an official recommendation. In the previous term of the government itself, now as a part of this, the Jal Shakti ministry has come. So many things are going to be done, but what I am saying, we are working with Maharashtra government to revive the Bogari River in Yavatmal. Yavatmal, as many of you should know, has been the epicenter of 44-kilometer stretch of a river. To revive this, both in terms of the river and the agriculture and changing the lives of these people who live in the riverbank, which is hardly you can call it a river anyway. What I see is, we made a project, a detailed project report with the government. Our cabinet approval has happened, Maharashtra government has been the most proactive government. In spite of that, what happens is, somewhere we think if we do half the job, it's good enough, and the other half can be done some other time. All the ladies, I am asking you, if the men don't understand this, is half a baby half a solution? Well, no baby is fine. Half a baby is a nuisance. But this is happening all over in a variety of government projects. We are trying to change this now. They will do this, they will do this, and they will do this. But the in-between bridging is not happening. In the end, after 10 years, all the three things will fail and we come to a conclusion these things don't work. Best thing is desalinate the ocean. Yes. So that's what they're talking. Because nothing works. Nothing works because we don't do it right. Right now, there is this thinking which we are working with the River Resources Ministry. There is this thinking among a whole lot of people, even in Karnataka, very strong opinions like this, that water that is going to the ocean is a waste. We must use every drop of it. Right now we are diverting Godavari to Kaveri so that Karnataka and Tamil Nadu can grow more rice, eat more rice and produce more children. Yes, always rice-eating populations produce more children, you must know this. And you are not an endangered species. that you must have fertility clinics all over the town. If you are a tiger, I would say please start fertility clinics. You are not an endangered species. We are nice, but we are too many, aren't we? Hello? I'm not saying human beings are not nice, they're wonderful, but we are too many. We must know how much this soil and this land can support. Somewhere we must come to senses, otherwise nature will do it in a cruel way. If we don't do this consciously, you will see in the next 25–30 years, nature will do it in a very cruel way. It's already beginning to happen. Did anybody ever imagine Karnataka will have water shortages? Huh? Nobody ever imagined 50 years ago. The Kaveri River, which I've been right from my early age, very involved. I come from that region. I once floated down Kaveri for 13 days, just on 4 truck tubes and a few bamboos. And I've lived on the riverside, I've camped on the riverside, and almost for 4 years, every day I swam in Kaveri River. For all of you also, the blood that flows in your body is largely Kaveri water. Hello? But today, I want you to know, from what it was 40 years ago, today it's 46% less than what it was 40 years ago. Your children, or maybe their children, will not know what is Kaveri. I will tell you, when we launched the Rally for Rivers movement, one of the things was, because we want the children to become conscious, we did over 50,000 art competitions around the country. You won't believe this. Many children, when they were asked to paint rivers, they painted brown sand and they thought that's the river, because that's the only river they've seen. I just entered Navi Mumbai driving all the way, and I go into one meeting place like this because I did, in those 30 days, I did 142 events. So people have gathered, I went to speak. One little girl, a 9-year-old girl comes up and extempore she speaks for 15 minutes in Marathi. You must see that, it's on the YouTube, I think. Is it? It's on the YouTube. She is saying, this Sadguru is saying he floated down a river. How can you float down a river? River you cannot float down. I have never seen a river like that in my life. What is he talking? She's talking like this. I just bowed down to her. Sad, as a generation of people, we have done the worst thing that humanity can do to this planet. We're trying to fix it, please pardon us. We're trying to do our best, but I want you to understand, we as a generation of people have taken the largest bite of this planet, as if we are the last generation. Do not think this is activist, alarmist talk. This is proper science, clearly unfolding in front of our eyes. Those who live in the cities may not understand this. Please just, on a Sunday morning, instead of going here and there and eating more in the local restaurant, food is good, I know Karnataka has the best breakfast, but just drive out somewhere, walk around, just talk to the local people, drive out to 50, 100 kilometers outside and see how the land is. Don't go to Western Ghats and think it's fantastic. Okay, some parts are still fortunately fantastic, but rest of the land you see, otherwise you do one thing, you fly from Bengaluru to Delhi, every 5 minutes just look out of the window. You will see India is a brown desert, hardly a few green patches anywhere. Have you seen? Please just look down and see, it is one endless brown desert. Only in the monsoon time, a little greenery seems to sprout, rest of the time it's just brown. So this is what we have done to this land, which is the richest land on the planet, if you ask me. The latitudinal spread that we have from Kanyakumari to Himalayas, we can just grow just about anything on this planet, 12 months of the year. There are very few nations on this planet which can do agriculture 12 months of the year. We can become the breadbasket of this planet if only if we revive this soil. If we don't revive this soil, there is no water. Please understand this. Only if there is enough organic content in the soil, it is capable of retaining water, otherwise it's simply not capable of water. If organic content goes away, you are converting soil into sand. If you say something, there are a whole lot of educated people who will immediately pop up and say, we know, I went to Israel and saw Israel, I want to bring technology. What you don't understand is they converted a harsh desert into fertile land. We are converting a fertile land into a desert. What we need here is very different. This land just needs a little helping hand. If all of us reach out a little bit, it will revive. In the next 25 years, it can revive, believe me. It has the capacity to revive because per cubic foot, the volume of organic activity that's happening is among the highest in this subcontinent. Nobody, no science is able to explain why this many species in one meter cube of soil, there are over 10,000 different types of organisms. This is the highest amount of organisms found in the soil. This soil can revive and recover very quickly if you put it under shade. 1/3 of India must go under shade. There is simply no other way. We must learn how to generate more food from the trees. This is all we need to do. As a part of this Rally for Rivers, we invited some Vietnamese experts because Vietnam has become a large exporter of fruit to the world. When we started talking to them, they're laughing at us. We asked why. They said, 22 years ago, the three experts were come. So all three of us were studying in Delhi, the agricultural college in Delhi. We took everything from here and we put it into the land. You guys, all your knowledge, you're writing papers and going to international forums and coming back and not putting it to the land. This is all your problem is. They studied here, went back and brought a revolution in Vietnam that they are becoming one of the most prominent fruit exporters in the world. More food should come from the tree. This needs to happen. This simply scratching the earth endlessly and opening it to sunlight all the time, you're just killing it. Soil is alive. Only if it is alive, only if it's living strong, you and me will live strong. If your soil becomes weak, we as a generation of people will become weak. Not only weak as human beings, our very genetic substance will become weak. India, the future of this India, the future generations of India will become weak because there is substantial science to tell you the soil that you walk upon, the food that you eat and the genetic substance, how it is kept. It is very, very closely connected and the future generations will become weaker than how we are. Future generations will become less than who we are. Well, we must understand this. If the next generation is not at least one step ahead of us, we have committed a crime against humanity. Yes, sir? Next generation should be at least one step ahead of us. If they fall behind us, this is a crime against humanity. And we are actively doing this. Projects like this, one project like this is not enough. It's fantastic that you're doing it, but one project is not enough. This needs to happen on a war footing, everywhere. If we don't put at least 33% of India's soil under shade, well, we must understand when we say catchment area, people think that one valley in Kodagu is catchment. I want you to understand, every square inch of land in this country is catchment. If you put it under shade, it will work. Well, it may work more actively in the valley, but it will work everywhere in many different ways because water systems across the subcontinent are connected in so many different ways. So this is the most important thing that we need to do. 1 crore is a fantastic number to start with, not a number to end with. Thank you very much.